Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at a swordies tier list in Smash Ultimate. Now sword characters in general and ult are extremely good. Most of them populate the top half of the tier list and a lot of them are within that top tier range. Like swords and ult are just incredible. Having a discount is always nice, especially when people are typically, hitting you with your face. And I have 5 categories here. Top 5, real good, mid, bad, and fake swordies. And I will be spending most time on the top 5 sword characters, but I do want to go through all the tiers that I have mentioned. Fake swordies is just like sword characters that are, yes, they're technically sword characters, but they don't fit into like the archetype, at least of what I imagine as a sword character, which is like, outspacing your opponent, like not having a ton of combos, but just like getting those neutral wins a lot more. And then Ganon is more of like a scrapper slash like heavy. I don't know what class heavy would be, like I guess grappler. And then he only has swords for smash attacks, which is like, again, technically he would be. Same thing with Steve, like he is more of like this super combo centric character with a sword move, which is like, yes, again, technically he's a sword character, but he doesn't play with one. And then Joker's more of like a combo zoner with, again, a sword. But if you are curious on where I would put them, I'd put Joker and Steve obviously top 2, Steve number 1, and then Ganon as the worst one. But I just didn't want to include them for this video because I want to keep this more in the spirit of like just actual typical sword characters, kind of like I did with the zoning video. And I think that's everyone, unless like maybe people think Pit is kind of a sword character because of his staff, but like he would just be low mid. I think that's everyone else, unless I just terribly screwed up. Let's get on to the bad tier. We have Marth, Robin, and me, Sword Fighter. Out of the 3, I would say Robin and Marth are technically viable because everyone in ult is. I would argue that me, Sword Fighter, is one of like the 5 characters in the game that you cannot consistently do well with. He's just very bad. And obviously anything's possible. If you want to be the best me sword fighter in the world, I say go for it. You still could top 8 a major, honestly. It'd just be like really hard. This character doesn't have a lot of options. All of his stuff is really slow. He's like more of a zoner character, but all of his projectiles kind of suck except in certain scenarios. Like in certain scenarios, Shockwad's really strong, but and then most of the time it's just isn't. Now, granted, there isn't a lot of me sword fighter like kind of top representation. So maybe like a really good player picks up the character and people start like realizing how good they are. Kind of like what happened with Brawler. I feel like people slowly started realizing it, and now we have like a bunch of like super prominent reps with him. Maybe that happens with sword fighter. I don't think so, but it's not impossible. Robin is just running out of resources is just very tough, especially when there's such crucial resources like, your sword, like, being, like, actually good. Like, if Robin always had Levin sword and resources, she would be, like, at least high tier, even if she was so. Like, Robin with all her stuff is very strong. And Marth in bad, a lot of people might disagree. I just think he's far too inconsistent. Like, the fact that you always have to be hitting tippers to be doing well, and you're probably not always going to be hitting tippers, just like, it's not even your fault. Just like, sometimes the tipper hitboxes are just so precise, it doesn't happen. That's just really rough, and it makes him super hard to be consistent with in tournament. Now, moving on to the mid tier, we have Toon Link, Ike, Meta Knight, and Sephiroth. I think a lot of people will be surprised by my Sephiroth placements and my Meta Knight placements, but this is mid relative to swordies, by the way. So, all of these characters, like at least Sephiroth and Meta Knight, are high tier. I would actually have Ike and Toon Link in mid tier. It's kind of the same thing where it's just like they have some pretty good options, but it's just underwhelming in comparison. Sephiroth is just like, first of all, way too hard, and his stuff is so committal. But then again, you could have one wing and be like top 20. Like, one wing Sephiroth is broken, but a lot of the times he doesn't have that, and he's super light. Meta Knight, you can have these crazy combos, or you could just get walled out in neutral. Ike is the Nair plane. If your opponent can parry, you're probably going to lose. And Toon Link is just like, he just feels like an underwhelming zoner. He isn't bad, and he has some stuff, and we've seen results for him. Like we have in Japan, we have Sigma, we have Jojo the Hobo, we probably have some other ones I'm not remembering. Toon Link has representation. The character isn't terrible, but just like compared to other swordies, he's not super great. And now we get on to the real good tier. We have Hero, Chrom, Corrin, Byleth, Link, Cloud, and then Young Link. All of these characters are extremely good. And I know a lot of people will probably disagree with me with my hero placement. I think Hero's incredible. Like, watching what Akka can do with the character is unreal. Buffed Hero is insane, and you can get those buffs pretty consistently, but sometimes you just like roll bad and some of his options can get outboxed. Like, if people know how to do with like your spells really well, like your like lightning, your neutral special, you can kind of get screwed over, but I still think he has just so many options that he could just throw out at you. Chrom is just like a very good character in neutral, and then you get hit off stage once and you die. It seems like a meme at this point, but it just really makes him super inconsistent. Corrin is like a combo sword character, which we don't see like a ton of, at least like throughout like so far. Like, we'll have them, a couple of them here, but Corrin's combos are very good. She kills extremely early with back air, with pin, with up air as well. For some reason, she has a kill throw, which is always nice, and she's a pretty good character. It's just like, so other sword characters do what she does better. That's the only reason she's lower, honestly. Byleth, Byleth is one of the swingiest sword characters in the game. Like, you can just get bullied with Byleth, but then you can hit like a back air at the ledge at like 50 or like a down smash at 50 and just start winning all of a sudden. Like, Byleth, like we've seen Leo do it a ton. Leo is like so good at this character because he utilizes those like super strong all of a sudden options incredibly well. And Byleth, it allows you to like have these really big comebacks, which can always help. Plus, he just has massive disjoints, which, you know, it's a sword character. All of them have massive disjoints. Next up is Link. Link is only this low because I'm a Link lover, just because he's really, really hard in tournament. But he has incredible normals, like very good specials as well. Bomb is stupid. His aerials are broken. Nair is insane. Forward air is insane. His tilts are also very good. Super big. He doesn't really struggle to kill at all. His projectiles are okay. Like, arrow isn't great. Boomerang isn't terrible, but like relative to some other projectiles, it's not amazing. But bomb is like super good, but also just like incredibly hard to use. Cloud is like, I feel like when I think of sword character, Cloud pops into my head. He just has these good, massive aerials. They're pretty strong. He has a not great recovery, doesn't have great grab game, but his tilts are insane. His spacing game is unreal. If you can play reactionary with Cloud like Spargo does, he is broken. And then plus limit, like limit makes Cloud pretty good. Like if Cloud had infinite limit in this game like he did in 4, he'd probably like be top 10, maybe even top 5. Like that stuff is super, super dumb, always having a broken recovery as well. It allows you to go out there super far sometimes, and he has like these massive hitboxes like nair, like back air, like forward air that you can just kind of stuff people out with, as well as having pretty good juggling. I haven't really mentioned juggling as well. I'd say out of everyone else that I've mentioned, Chrom probably has the best juggling. Maybe Corrin, but I think as of like who I've mentioned, Cloud's juggling is unreal. And then the final one in real good is going to be Young Link. Young Link is stupid. This character has so many amazing options, and he is so fast, and like everything combos and everything kills, and he is just so dumb. Like, Young Link eats glue in the game, and Young Link players can eat glue and do really well. Like, this character has just combos that explode you at 40 from a projectile. He has kill confirms from a projectile. He also just has like really annoying projectiles. He is the best projectile swordie in the game. And even though I want it to be Link, it is Young Link, and I don't really think it's close, at least for now. But now, we're here, what everyone's been waiting for, the top 5, and my 5th character is going to be Lucina. Lucina is the most funniest character in the game, arguably. She is just like, if I am better than you, I'm going to win. That's why Proto wins a lot, just because he's better than a lot of people. And she has these like really strong options, like Dolphin Slash is super good. Like Dolphin Slash, I would argue it's her best move, just like the amount of stuff she gets out of it. It's a kill move, it's obviously a recovery move, but you can use it to edge guard as well super efficiently. It's a great out of shield option. Shield breaker is always scary that you have to deal with. Having a counter is always nice, but like that's not really special with the sword character. Also, like, she has very, very good juggling. Like, her juggling game is incredible. Back air kills so early, and Lucina's just like Cloud, it's just like, I am a sword character. I have like these weaknesses, but my strengths are so good. Her neutral game is absolutely incredible, and she has a pretty high damage output despite not having many combos. Next up is going to be Sora. Sora is like he's like a weird swordie because he's super, super floaty. At least like compared to other swordies, like Toon Link is pretty floaty, but like Sora is like on another level. But his combo game is good. This is Sora right now. I could see Sora in the future, as much as it hurts my heart to say, being somewhere close to that top 10 range, because his combo game is insane, and he's also pretty good without the combo game. Like, we saw Zachary win Kagaribi 6 or 7 right when the character came out, and that was without doing any insane stuff, just your basic bread and butters. But now we have Kameme doing these like insane, super elaborate combos, as well as other Sora players, but he's just the most notable one. His projectile game is actually pretty decent. The fact that he has confirms off projectiles is dumb. His recovery, while still like, it is still edge guardable because he is like so floaty and kind of like track him pretty well. It's really good. You can just go so low, and if your character like doesn't have like a ton of options off stage, like if you're not a Pikachu or a Pac-Man that can stall out there with the Sora, then chances are you're not going to be able to edge guard him. And then he has kill confirms out the ass. He's really, really strong, and he's just a great character. Now we have the top 3, and I do think there is a little gap between these 3 characters because these 3 are all top 10, and the least top 10 of them all, I guess, would be Shulk. Shulk, Monado is... I don't know why they put that in the game. I don't know why they all sat down and they thought, do you know what would be really funny? Let's make a character die at 40, live at 160. He can do 1,000,000 damage in 1 second. He's like a race car, and he jumps real high. And then they said, okay, what if we make that all one move, and then we make another entire character? And they're like, perfect. Let's put that on a character. And then they put it on Shulk. But Shulk is really good. He has these massive hitboxes that just like cover so much of the screen. Again, like I said, Monado stuff is really dumb. The fact that you can get hit by a multi-hit, switch to shield, while the multi-hit is done, switch to kill mode and or smash and just explode you is stupid. He shouldn't be able to do that, but he can. The only thing that's like maybe keeping him out is without his Monados, even though he does have these massive hitboxes, he isn't as good. Like Monado game makes him super strong, but if you can efficiently play around his Monados, like a Kurama's very good against Shulk. Like he plays around the Monado combos super interesting. Like when it's like shield, he'll like do certain stuff. When it's a smash, he'll do certain stuff. Buster, you just need to know that against Shulk, but that requires a ton of matchup experience. And if you don't have that matchup experience, you're probably gonna struggle versus this character. Now we have the top two. Roy versus Pyra Mythra. And before I get into who is number 1 and 2, I want to say here are the things, because they both have incredible neutral, incredible advantage, not great disadvantage, but what Mythra and Pyra have is better advantage and worse disadvantage. So which do you value? Now me personally, I value the advantage. Roy is good. Roy is really good. He is the second best sword character in the game. He has super good combos, like just dummy good combos out the wazoo. It is insane. Like a nair, a jab, a down air, I guess, an up air, like sour spot and sweet spot is super broken. Side B is like better than limit blade beam for some reason. That thing is super stupid. His up B out of shield is really strong. It has super armor in the first couple frames as well. He has like a really good kill confirms with jab. Jab is one of the best kill confirms in the game. Like I think the only better kill confirm in the game is like Crom Jab, honestly. Like that thing is super stupid. You can spam it on shield. It kills pretty early because you get into back air, as well as just him having like raw back air as well. The only thing kind of holding him back, and with most sword characters, is their recovery. That's why Sora has such a bright future, by the way, is because he doesn't really have that recovery problem that most swordies are like, struggling from. But, Roy is incredible. He has a bunch of representation at top level because he's just a super consistent character, which is like, it's now just like, oh, that's kind of weird that Roy, the character with like, tippers or like super, I guess not tippers, but like super like interesting sour spots and sweet spots is more consistent than Crom, but he just is. He always hits you for so much damage and he can just explode you. But even though Pyra Mythra isn't as consistent as Crom, their highs are just, or than Roy rather, the highs are just too good to ignore. Pyra Mythra is so dumb. So Pyra, let's start with Pyra because she's worse. Pyra hits like a truck and is massive, excuse me, she has massive hitboxes. Her down air alone makes me throw up every time I see it. Like her forward tilt is incredible, down tilt kill confirms are really strong. Up B is still a pretty scary option, especially like when you could confirm into it. Down air being a kill move and a kill confirm move is really good. Her juggling is still really good despite having her low speed because of how big her up air and her back air are, and her nair as well kills for some reason. Side B, you have a bunch of intricate stuff with that. It can get you off the ledge for free sometimes because you can just like force someone to be stuck in shield, and they can roll out eventually, but by that time you've already gotten center stage, and that is just like really dumb. Obviously, there is counterplay to her, and then, yes, her recovery is bad. Her recovery is better than Mythra's, I'd argue, even though Mythra has the side B, just because the side B is so easy to destroy. And I guess let's just talk about Mythra. Mythra has, in my opinion, the second best advantage at worst in the game, like maybe Game & Watch is above her. She just creates so much pressure at all times, and she is so fast. Everything about her is fast. Her frame rate is fast. Her movement speed is fast. Like, it is just ridiculous. Her combos are also very strong. She can take you from 0 to 60 pretty easily, and she still has these like very big hitboxes. It's not like Mythra is like this character with like these stuff. She's not a Mario. She is a Mario. Well, she is like Mario, except she just has like things that go like across the stage. It is so dumb, but she also does, of course, struggle from that recovery. Her recovery is pretty bad. The side B is very, very bad, and even though it can clip sometimes, most of the time people that are experienced in the matchup are going to be dunking you like 9 out of 10 times when you're going for that side B recovery, which means you basically always have to up B, and if you get your jump clipped, you're probably dead as this character. So, that is my top 5. I could see Roy being higher than Pyra Mythra. That is probably the person or the people that I would argue the most on this list. Could be switched. Like, I don't really have a super, super strong stance. I just value Pyra Mythra's highs a little more just because, like, when they're playing on fire, it looks like impossible to stop. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you have like certain characters higher or lower, maybe you think like Cloud is top 5. I could see it honestly. Cloud is very, very strong, and he's only getting better in my mind. And maybe you have someone too low. I could have done Sephiroth 30. I don't really know. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to sub, all that yada yada, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.